My reading wrap up has been done, and now I have to tell you guys what I plan to get to during the month of October. Wow, it's almost over, you guys. So, you guys know I read a lot. Like, I get through quite a lot. September, I did fall into a reading slump, and because of that, I would say if you're struggling, just stop reading it and throw it back into the ocean because it's not worth it, you guys. Like, you could be reading like 3 more books in the process of reading one really bad book that you're just not vibing with. So that is my little TED talk. All right, let's get into what I plan on reading in October. The first book I just got from the library. This is Diavola. What is it about? Let's see. Follows a set of twins. They're adults and they go on this like family vacation with their parents every year. This year they're going to this villa, and there is like a dark history around like this villa, and so things start to take a horrible turn. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it sounds really interesting to me, so I can't wait to read this, and I have to read it because it's a library book. This book I got as a recommendation from someone that said that this is the perfect spooky book. This is The Reformatory. Who is it by? The Reformatory by Tananarive Do? Oh, okay. So the true crime lover in me knows that there's like this history of like, I think it's like a set of black boys. I don't really know the case, but I know I've heard about it in passing. But there's a case where there were like young black boys that were sent to like this like reformatory school that burned down, and it is rumored that it's haunted. Like where it is, it's haunted. So this book is very similar to that, if not inspired by that. So it follows like this 12-year-old who is sentenced to 6 months at like this school for boys for kicking the son of the largest landowner in the town in defense of his older sister. So he's sent to this like Jim Crow South. It is a historical fiction, which is normally not my thing, but I think it's based on that true crime story, which interested me. But yeah, he's sent to this school in Florida and things happen. I think, okay, let's see. Yeah, he's seeing ghosts. He's seeing ghosts at this school, and oh yeah, he's seeing ghosts at this school, and he's learning the different rules on how to survive in this reformatory. It sounds really, really interesting, but like, yeah, it is a little bit thicker. This is a library book, so I have to read it before I return it. Then my girl KK keeps recommending this, so I have to read this. This is The Island by Adrian McKenty. I have read The Chain, which is like one of my favorite thriller books of all time, so I have high hopes of this. I believe it follows like this family. I think it's like the dad and his children, and then like a stepmom, and they end up going to like this island, and something happens, but I don't know other than that. And I do want to go in blind for this one, so I'm not gonna really like look into it too much. Then I think this would be the perfect time to reach for Gothic Anna. I haven't read it yet, and I don't know, it gives me like spooky vibes for some reason. I know it's a dark romance, but yeah, I think she's going to like this like academy. I love a like dark academia kind of thing. So it follows this girl. Her name is Corvina Clem. She just lost her mom, and she receives this admissions letter to this mysterious school. Yeah, she ends up going, and it's like this secluded castle on top of a mountain. And yeah, like, I really don't know what it is or like what it's about. Oh, there's pictures in here. Oh, geez. But yeah, I've been wanting to read this for a long time, and now I'm going to finally get to it. My friend Simone actually got me this book, and I will be reading it in October, but it's called Looking for Love in All the Haunted Places by Claire Kahn. If you guys have not read of this author, they are really great at asexual representation. I just love reading their books, and I'm excited to read this one. Oh, okay, this one's going to be spooky. Love brings down the haunted house in this captivating romance. Okay, so this follows a woman named Lucky Hard. Now, she is something called a parapsychologist. So she is interested in the supernatural, and she hears that there's like this movie set where they're filming at this like old Victorian house. And so far, like so many people have just up and quit after like spending a few days in that house because it's just so spooky. So she ends up finding a way onto the set, and she ends up meeting this guy that she's interested in. This is a romance, but the house becomes jealous. The house wants her all to itself. So this sounds like it's gonna be pretty interesting. Like, I'm excited for it. So yes. Then we have Even If the Sky Is Falling. Now, this is not a spooky vibe. I do want to add in a little bit of romance in October, so something different to give me a palate cleanser. But this is going to be like some type of anthology of different short stories written by different authors. The theme is it is the end of the world, and these people are trapped together. Some of them are like enemies, and they're going to become lovers or things like that. The most inconvenient thing, like I said, it's the end of the world. There's a siren going off, letting them know that things are happening. The internet has crashed. There's no cell phone service. They are trapped together. This is just going to be everything, and I'm so excited. This is a book that I wanted to read last month, but I did not get to it, so I'm just putting it back into my rotation. This is The Roommate Risk by Talia Hibbert. I loved the Brown Sisters trilogy by this author, so I'm excited to read something else. I believe this is an interracial romance. Okay, so this is outside of my typical reading because this is friends to lovers, which tends to not be a good trope for me. But it follows two friends. They have been secretly pining for each other for 7 years. And then one summer, Jasmine, who is the female main character, her plumbing, something happens to the plumbing in her house, and she has to end up moving in with her best friend. And yeah, I'm assuming things get a little spicy with them both living under the same roof. And so I'm excited to get to this. This is also a book that I have previously tried to read and I just never got to it. But someone told me that this is really good for the fall. So I am also going to be reading this. This is I Accidentally Summon a Demon Boyfriend by Jessica Cage. I'm excited, you guys. Willow. I'm excited, you guys. I think this is about a woman who is single. She's in her 30s, and, you know, for fun, she ends up reading this book, and she says the spell out loud, ends up summoning the monstrous character that is in her book, and now he is, like, bound to her. So this is going to be really interesting. This is a book that I have the audiobook for, and I also have the physical copy, so I want to get to it, and it happens to be spooky, so that's how this got selected. It's called Where the Dead Sleep by Joshua Moyling. Okay, so this is going to be like a detective mystery. So it follows this deputy, Ben Packard. He is investigating like this home invasion. Someone is unalived during this, and he's going around the town to like kind of figure out like if anyone knows what happened. And everyone has a story to share about this person, but no one has like a reason for him being unalived. And so that's basically what the gist is. He's also the deputy is also running for sheriff, or at least he has the choice to run for sheriff, which is going to be something that is, I guess, like angsty, because he's like, oh my god, I don't know if they're gonna vote me to be sheriff, but I also have to investigate this case. So lots of things going on in this. I'm excited to read this, but it might be like the last book that I read in October. And then also another palette cleanser. This might be still a little spooky, but I think it's like a cozy, like spooky book, and I have always wanted to read this. This is A Deadly Inside Scoop by Abby Collette. So this follows a woman who just became the owner of her family's ice cream parlor, and on the same day that she opens up her business, there is a dead body that is found outside of her store, and it turns out that the police suspect that her father might have something to do with it. So she is investigating the case to figure out what is going on, but she is also trying to juggle handling opening a new store. It's gonna be cute. It's gonna be cute. Okay, another book that I recently unboxed in my book of the month. This is Someone in the Attic by Andrea Mara. If I remember correctly, it's very vague, but someone is unalived in the beginning of this book, and then it follows another woman named Julia who sees a video of someone climbing out of her attic. Now she's confused as to how this person got into her house because it's supposed to be safe and secluded, and yeah, something in the attic. I think it's going to be really good. I really don't know anything else. I don't want to know anything else. I just want to go in being shocked and surprised. And then we have Sleep Type by J.H. Markert. This is also another book that I just got from Book of the Month. This will probably be the first book that I read in October because I'm so excited for it. So it follows the aftermath of a serial unaliver called Father Silence. When he was finally caught and his property was like kind of like examined, they found 19 bodies and there was only one survivor. So this book picks up 20 years in the future when we have the detective who investigated the case. Their daughter is now a detective herself, and she also has a daughter. So there's like this new person called the Outcasts. They're gonna show up and take this woman's daughter. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what happened and hopefully get her daughter back. Then we have another book that so many people recommend for October. This is The September House by Carissa Orlando. I don't know what this one is about. Okay, so this one is interesting. You mean to tell me I found my dream house and it turns out to be haunted? Yeah, I'm not going anywhere either. You're just gonna have to hunt me. And that is exactly what the main character said in this book, because she is not moving out. So the walls could bleed blood, ghosts can show up, and I'm not leaving my home. That is what she said until her husband decided to completely up and just go away, and her daughter decides to come for a visit, and it is September. The house only haunts in September. So now she has to deal with the hauntings along with her daughter being there to investigate her missing father. So this is really interesting. And then we have Incidents Around the House by Josh Malerman. This book follows this little girl who is obviously being haunted by this entity that keeps saying stuff such as, "Can I go inside your heart?" And she knows, the little girl knows that if she says yes, something bad is going to happen. And her parents begin to fight, and it seems like the entity is growing stronger. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little scared of evil spirits, so I'm gonna read it, but just know I'm gonna be scared. Then I'm finally going to do attempt number 2 of reading this book. I did DNF it like years ago because I was like, ooh, I don't like what he's saying, but some people said that he's being satirical, and so I will go back and keep that in mind. But it does take place in the 80s with this group of these women who are in a book club and in this small town, and there is a vampire. They become aware that there is a vampire in the town, and I think, if I remember correctly, some children are gonna go missing. The thing I had an issue with is how women are treated in this book, and also how black people are treated in this book, if I remember correctly, which is why it made me so uncomfortable I DNF'd it. But I want to give it another shot, and if I don't like it this time, I will just get rid of it. Then we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Now, I know nothing about this book, but I did promise someone that I will be reading it. I think it's a werewolf romance, and so I really do want to read it. I love the love hypothesis, so I'm really excited to read this one and see. I think this is the Afterlight exclusive edition. I do not have the paperback, but I will be reading it in October. And that is it. Those are all of the books that I hope to get to in October. I will come back at the end of October to let you guys know if I get through everything. But until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.